And this is the weekly one card tarot draw that I've introduced for folks that just kind of want to get a guideline for the week. And so there's a few things I want to talk to you about today, but let's get to the part that's important to y'all first. So I usually pregame so you don't have to sit there watching me shuffle while I BS. And so the card I pulled for this morning was the Star inverted. And generally, that does mean not attaining your goals, general disappointment, or being generally disappointed in people. Now, given the events of the last week, I think that everybody being disappointed in everybody isn't so much a prediction as it is a little bit of a zeitgeist. And there isn't a lot I can recommend to do about that, except believe people when they show you who you are and lean into more grounded community support and start calling out abusive behavior as abuse, because that's where we're at right now. So last week's reading, the one card pull, could have been seen as predictive. And these are draws that I do for the whole community rather than ones where I do them for individuals. And that does mean that one of the things that is about community, that impacts community, is politics. Existing at all is a political experience. Existing as anything except whoever has the most power is a political existence. So sometimes these readings, despite my best efforts, are political. And last week's, I don't even try to see this stuff coming. If you saw the reading I did for 2025 New Year's, I was traumatized by myself and I had no idea what the hell was going on. And to be honest, this year hasn't gotten better. And so I am just writing it and doing the best to make my section of my community better, to make my bubble, to make my home better, and to not be in so much of a bubble. And sometimes getting out of the bubble does mean getting offline, which is a contradictory thing to say since this is how I get tarot clients and this is how I get readers and this is my bread and butter. We are in a crisis of consciousness, not just nationally, but internationally right now. And so the whole disappointment thing, we hoped for better. And I think most people that get readings from me know I'm not a sugarcoater. I have tried, and I've either done a massive disservice to my clients when I have sugarcoated, or I just don't know how. So what I will say about this one, this isn't a sugarcoating. It's okay, we are let down by people. So the next step, now that you know who people really are, is to find what way to interact with them or not interact with them that promotes peace for you and your community. So some people have very much outed themselves as just not safe human beings to be around. That's a non-negotiable. So those people, if you are able, and not everybody is because of the situations they're in, if you are able, you distance them, you lock doors to them in your life, you do not give them access to you anymore if you are able to do so. If you are not, you find ways to limit access, and depending on the type of person, make it so they think they're the ones that are limiting access. I don't like being manipulative, but it is not always an evil skill. The other part is looking at the people who either don't understand or don't want to understand. I tend to have politics find me, and this is not an ignorance is bliss for my perspective, because I will somehow always know what's going on even when I don't want to. So rather than ignorance is bliss, it is more of I am gray rocking a very large abuser. A lot of the things that I'm seeing that are popping up were basically outlined for us in the Project 2025 documents. Nothing is really a surprise, except that apparently it's not just the left that eats itself now, but at least we admit we do. So, and I don't really consider myself left. I consider myself an old school centrist, and suddenly I am considered left leaning when my ideas used to be considered moderate. I haven't really changed my opinions in 20 years. I still think that we haven't finished the feminist work from the 1920s. So again, hi, thank you for joining us. So for people coming in, we are talking about disappointment because the card was the star inverted for this week. And I am not seeing this as a prediction. I am seeing it more as just an acknowledgement of how I would say everybody's disappointed in everybody right now, at least on the US side. If there is someone living in a country where things are like consistently happy, don't tell us because we will crowd you and ruin it for you. But what I am talking about is okay, we are in a position where people are showing who they really are. They're showing either their apathy or their extreme concern or their general inability to moderate or a lot of other things where, yes, it is exactly as serious as we thought it was. And so by navigating the disappointment, I am kind of spitballing on ways to navigate that disappointment so it is ultimately beneficial to your personal lives and to your immediate communities. And that is even in inclusive communities, there are people that need to be excluded for safety. This is just one of those nuances of life. And so, what you are doing by navigating the general disappointment is seeing who you need to distance from, who might need support if someone's taking it especially hard, or if their vulnerability is being especially exploited or being raised up in this. For some reasons, if someone else is exploiting their vulnerability, then supporting the person who is vulnerable. And also, as much as possible, and again, this goes contradictory to what's beneficial to me, is getting offline more, getting into face to face spaces, because a lot of what's going on right now comes down to deliberate manipulation. Look up Cambridge Analytica scandal so you can really see how everybody's been manipulated online. So, Cambridge Analytical scandal, there's even a Netflix documentary about it. I think it was Netflix, might have been Hulu. And learn about that and learn how to have face-to-face conversations again. Right now, like I am a small creator. I am seeing, but 6 people online seems more impersonal. I am picturing all of you in a room, like with coffee or whatever beverage in hand, and we are talking face to face. And if you've noticed, when you go into those occasions, even though they are frequently more anxiety inducing, and I do have generalized anxiety disorder too, for the other cup, for whoever else, because there's like, I swear there's 2 out of 3 people these days. If you, it is more powerful when you remember it's real people, when you imagine, when you reach out and feel it's real people. So while we are navigating the collective disappointment, and I will say it does not matter what side of the political line you are on, everybody's disappointed right now. Um, but take a minute with me to just imagine all of us sitting around a table together, maybe in a cute little cafe with cats and books everywhere. And I'm liking the idea of brightly sunny, but with just enough ivy house plants to, sorry about that, to prevent anybody getting sun in their eyes, as much as I love our aurora. And just take a minute and feel that. Feel that connection and realness. You don't have to exchange energy. You just have to be aware of each other. And for those of you that may not be able to see images, think about how you do sense things. The weight of a body beside you, the smell of the beverages, the feeling of a tile floor or industrial carpet beneath your feet. And just take a minute with that because, you know, we all need to breathe and we all need to move forward. So, hi, I see someone just joined us. We are taking a minute so the tarot card of the day is the Star inverted. And so we were talking about disappointment, and I don't feel like this is so much a prediction or a guideline. It's just an expression of the general zeitgeist right now. And talking about, okay, if there is advice to take from the card, it's people have showed you who they really are. So believe them and make moves accordingly for a healthier community and for a healthier personal life, whether that means distancing from people that are emotionally or physically violent in some ways, that look down on others or think that life is supposed to be some big existential competition. And we were taking a moment to imagine being in a coffee shop together in whatever way our brain processes the presence of others, and just remembering that, well, this seems distant and small because I'm a small creator online and the numbers are more massive online to compare to. But 7 or 8 people around a table in a coffee shop, that's a little bit of a crowd. And that's enough for significant community activism, community change, community support, emotional support. So I'm just taking a minute to just imagine all this being around the table and this person that just joined us, and reminding ourselves of how that feels and how important that is. And even though it goes against me getting online bookings and getting attention, this is what we really need. So that's what I've got for you this morning. Thank you so much. Usually, for people that may have just found me at random today for a tarot pull, I post a video of this whenever, like usually by the end of tonight. Sometimes I don't get to it till the next day because I have kids, a life, and a house that needs a lot of attention, and I'm a full-time writer and a full-time tarot reader. I also do have a Patreon, which I am slowly building out. And for that one, weekly, my Patreon members get a 3-card tarot pull that builds on whatever we took from this card first. So I'm Diana Rachel with The Spirited Witch for Practical Living for Spooky People. I am available for tarot readings and consultations. My expertise is in paranormal problem solving, and reincarnation and recurring issues, but any type of reading, I can do any type of reading. So that's what I've got for y'all today. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me this morning. Also, just to hopefully make you smile, this is my new coffee mug of the morning. Cute but creepy. Stay magical, everyone. Thank you for spending a little time with me.